Hello, welcome to the stream. Still waiting for my water to come to a boil. Pretty sure there's something, I've said this before, but I think there's something wrong with this pot burner. It takes forever. I don't know what. The fire looks fine under here though. I don't know what it is. Because they're not, the height of the flame looks fine, so I don't know. I'm gonna add the honey now. Putting the honey in the water now. I said that backwards. Putting the honey in the water. Water and the honey. Can't tell if there's a problem there. Yes, I'm Canadian. I'm a very nice guy, yes, it's true. I don't know what's wrong with this. This is taking forever. It usually doesn't take this long. Like it's not even bubbling. Well, it's bubbling a bit. Yeah, no, it's turned all the way up. I can't turn it any further. There's a valve in the back that I've checked, and it seems humidity. Well, I don't know. The thing is, we have 4 other stores, and I bake at two other stores, and I don't have this problem at those stores. So I think it's the pot burner. No, I think the problem is the gas flow isn't strong enough. I don't know though. Yeah, okay. That was a mildly funny joke. Except that I would probably hurt my head if I did that. I'm gonna throw my first batch in now. Yeah, I don't know. Either it's clogged, so it needs to be cleaned, or else there's not enough gas going through. I don't know. I'll have to get a gas fitter in here or whatever. Whatever gas fitter or stove technician, whatever we call it. I don't know. There, that's my first batch in. 450. Oh. Let's play some ditties. I have an audience out front. Somebody's sleeping in their car. The windows are all fogged up. They have an iPad right in front of their face. I have a live audience today. They're watching in their car right now. It's funny. Just gonna sip coffee. Yeah. Something wrong with this pot here. It's taking forever. I've got my first batch in, but it's gonna take a while, I think. I'm really getting off to a late start this morning. It's like it's almost 5:30 here. But what can you do, I guess? I'm gonna wash my I'm gonna wash my hands, start wiping my boards. Sorry, I missed that comment. Get a little distracted here. Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser deep and wide washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you'd never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and ate the cheeses from the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, find the remedy we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "For a gilder eyed my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door but a gentle tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor, "what's that?" With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his conjugate muteness, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin, but lips or smile went out and in. There was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone." He advanced towards the council table, and "Please, your honor," said he, "I am able, by means of secret charm, to draw all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper." And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of self-same check, and that scarf's end on the pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. "Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fled the Cam. Last June from his huge swarms of gnats, I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Once more into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and muttering grew to a grumbling, and grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the house came the rats tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, broady rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, brave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, called the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to rat land home his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as of scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses gripe, and a moving away of pickled up boards, and leaving a jar of conserve cupboards, and a drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and a breaking the hoops of butter casks, and it seemed as if a voice, sweeter far than by harp or by psalteries breathed, called out, "O rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast dry saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a faulty sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone. Gracious scarce an inch before me, just as me thought it said come bore me, I found the Weser rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells, they rock the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, and get long poles, poke out the net and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats. When suddenly up the face of the piper parked in the marketplace, the first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders. The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made more havoc, with claret, moselle, vin de gras hock, and half the money would replenish their cell as big as butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and whence men can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put to the poke. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, wasn't joke. Besides, the losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's face fell, and he cried, no trifling, I can't wait beside. I promised a visit by dinner time Baghdad, and accept the prime of the head cook's pottage. All he's rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen, of a nested scorpions no survivor. With him I proved no bargain driver, with you don't think I'll bait a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion, may find me pipe after another fashion. How, cried the mayor, do you think I brook, being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a ribald, with idle pipe and vesture piebald? Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe until you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe with smooth straight cane, and ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musician's cunning never gave the enraptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling and pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, and like foals in the farmyard and barley is scattering, out came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flax and curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping ran merrily after. The wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood, as if they're changed in the blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mare was on the rack, and the wretched council put their feet, as the piper turned to the High Street, to where the Weser rolled its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, and to Copperberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed, great was joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top, his voice let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced and the children followed. When all were in to the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No one was lame, and could not dance a whole the way. And in after years, if you blame his sadness, he was used to say, "It's dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't predict it, I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led, as he said, to a joyous land, joining the town in jest at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, and flowers were forth of fairer hue, and everything was strange to you. The sparrow was better than peacock here, and their dogs outran our fellow deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings. And just as I became assured, my lame foot we speedily cured. The music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas for Hamelin, there came into many a burgher's pate a text which says that heaven's gate opes the rich at his easy rate, as the needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor sent east, west, north, and south, to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when he saw 'twas lost endeavor, the piper and dances were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, in the better in memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing pipe or tabor was sure for his future lose his labor. Near Suffragate Hospital or cavern, shocked with mirth a street so solemn, and opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not admit to say, in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress, to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison, into which they were Japanned a long time ago in a mighty band, out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers of scores out with all men, especially pipers. And if they should pipe us free from rats, from mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. That was The Pied Piper of Hamelin by Robert Browning. Are there any Vancouverites on the stream today? Does anybody know the outcome of the election? Oh, I think I already read it. Was Kenneth Stewart won, didn't he? Kenneth. Or Stewart Ken, or whatever. I don't know his name. I did not follow our election here in the city very well. Although one of my bosses was a candidate in the election. I think he came in second. Which is too bad, because he probably would have done a good job. Oh well. Hey, hello. Water's just starting to boil now. Seriously. It's been on the pot for about an hour and a half. It's just boiling now. Oh, nice. Where are you located? That one looks so bold. New York City, nice. I want to visit New York City really badly. I need to get my passport renewed though. Oh, nice. I want to go on a bagel tour, an East Coast bagel tour. I want to go to Montreal, New York. A grand bagel tour, that's what I want to do. I've done sort of a West Coast bagel tour. I went down to Portland, and there's a place called Eisenhower Bagel or something like that. Do another poem. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved the waylaid with his lies is there? All travelers might find him posted there, and ask the road, I guessed what skull-like laugh, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside and along this track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescently I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope the kindling at the end of stride, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discuss if near the grave be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with care about banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, who may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft being writ, so many times among the band to wit. The knights who to our towers searched to dress their steps, that just as they failed. Oh, I lost it. Oh, some mornings. The poetry is derailed. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. That's why that train went off the tracks. I didn't take a sip of coffee before I started. Oh, I got a stiff arm. Muscle right here. Very stiff. Yeah, need the coffee. I just started drinking coffee right when I get to work. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. I usually drink my first cup at around 9 o'clock. Or, well, no, that's not true. I usually wait until the artisans come. They brew their first batch about 7 o'clock, 6:30, between 6:30 and 7. And that's usually when I drink my first cup of coffee. But one of the artisans showed me how to brew coffee recently. And so I've been brewing my own coffee. And now I drink it right when I get here. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think I drink more coffee the way that I do it now. So I should probably limit my consumption. I drink about 3 cups a day, I think. About 3 cups. It's very bad. Let's try that poem again. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm doing well, how are you? Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us this morning. 2 times. Beauty scar. What scar? Uh, Anybody can make bagels. Can I make happiness? Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's between bread and a pretzel. It's good. That's a good comparison, I guess. Especially these ones. Montreal style bagels, I think, are closer to a pretzel than they are to bread. Pretzels have nice crunchy crust. These ones have a nice crunchy crust too. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Oh, that's a pot. Never mind. What do the village elders think of your baking tactics? I guess they like it. I don't know. Well, it's a busy chat today. Hard to keep up. Oompa Loompas. I love the Oompa Loompas. Oompa Loompa. These are poppy seeds, yeah. Yep. I don't think you can eat enough poppy seeds to get to produce an effect. That would be. I think you'd have to eat a lot of poppy seeds. I'm pretty sure they'd act as a pretty strong laxative. So I don't think you'd want to do that. I'm not about to try shoveling a bunch of poppy seeds. We do get our poppy seeds from a pharmaceutical company though, from Australia. It's called Sun Pharmaceuticals. Funny enough. flute to close. Oh. I don't think I have time. I got to take this batch out of the oven, so I can't play the flute right now, fortunately. I will do a bagel trick for you though. I'm gonna put all the bagels right into this little crate here. Let's get that done. Those look ready, so I'm going to take those out now. Whew. Almost lost those ones. There's our bagels. Oh, you can smell the nice hot sesame seeds. Ah, sesame seeds. Hot sesame seeds. So we got 2 batches in the oven now. 1 in the pot. We have a sip of coffee. It is a walk in the park. I'm just walking in the park this morning. I'm always walking in the park. I'm a park walker. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee. The person stored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be sent for with his staff? What save to waylay with his lies and snare all travelers who might find him posted there? And asked the rogue, I guess what skull-like laugh would break, would Crutchkin write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous tracks, all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescently I did turn as appointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost now fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes the farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely or outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discuss if the other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with carable banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, he may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft being writ, so many times among the band to wit, the knights who to dark towers search should rest their steps, that just to fail as they seem best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catch its astray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged the plain after a pace or two, then pausing to back with a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, grey plain all round, nothing but plains and horizons bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw starved ignoble nature. Nothing throve, for flowers as well expect a cedar grove. But chortle and spurge, according to their law, might propagate their kind with none to awe. You'd think a burr had been a treasure trove. No penry inert in a single mince, in some strange sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly. In nothing skills, I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire must fear this place. Calcine its claws and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its nate's headless chalk, the bents were jealous else. What made the holes and rents in the dog's harsh coarse leaves? Bruised as the bark, all hope of greenness. Till the brute must walk, passion their life out with the brute's intents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair in leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud which underneath was kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse, his every bone a stare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service from the devil's scud. Alive, he may be dead for aught I know, with red gaunt and callop neck strained, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart, as a man calls for wine before he fights. I asked one draught of earlier, happier sight. Ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, a soldier's art. One taste of old time sets all to rights. Not it. I fancied Cuthbert's reddened face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt him fold, and arm in mind to fix me to that place. The way he used, alas, one night's disgrace. Oh, at my heart's new fire and left it cold. Giles then, the soul of honor, there he stands, frank as 10 years ago when knighted first. An honest man should dare, he said he durst. Good, but the scene shifts. Follow what hangman's hand pinned to his breast the parchment. His own band reads it. Poor traitor spit upon and cursed. Better this present than a past like that. Back therefore to my darkening path. No sound, no sight as far as the eye can strain. Will the night send a howlet or a bat, I asked, when something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden little river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the glooms. This as it frothed by might have been a bath, the fiend's glowing hoof, to see the wrath of its black eddies be spat with flakes and spoons. so petty yet so spiteful. All along low scrubby alders kneeled over it, drenched willows flung them headlong, in a fit of broke despair, a suicidal throng. The river which had done them all the wrong, whatever that was, rolled by, deterred no whit. Which while I forded, good saints, how I feared, set my foot upon a dead man's cheek. Each step or field spear I thrust to seek, for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but og it sounded like a baby shriek. Glad was I to reach the other bank, now for a better country. Vain presage, who are the strugglers? What war did they wage? Whose savage trample could thus pad the dank soil to a plash? Toads in a poison tank, or wild cats in a red-hot cage. The fight must so have seemed in that foul cirque. What penned them there with all the plain to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse. None out of it. Mad brewage set to work their brains, no doubt, like galley slaves a Turk. Pitchfork pastime Christians against Jews. And more than that, a furlong on wide there. What bad use was that engine for? Or wheel that, or break not wheel that harrow fit to reel men's bodies out like silk. With all the air of Coffin's tool, on earth left unaware, or brought to sharpen its rusty teeth of steel. Then came some stub ground, once of wood, next the marsh would seem, now mere earth, desperate and gunless, so the fool finds mirth, makes a thing and mars it, till his mood changes, and off he goes, within a rude bog, clay and marsh, sand and stark black earth. Now blotches rankling, color gay and grim, now patches where some leanness of the soils broke into moss or substances like boils. Then came a palsied oak, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its rim, gaping at death and dies while it boils. As far as ever from the end, not in the distance, but the evening not, point my footsteps further at the thought, great black bird following the woodland pen, sail past nor beat his wide wings, dragon pen, the brush of my cap perchance the guide I sought. For looking up aware I somehow grew, the plain had given place all round to mountains with such names and grace, mere heights and heaps, now stolen in view. How lest they surprised me, solving you, how to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seemed to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me, God knows when, in a bad dream perhaps. Here ended then progress this way, when in the very nick of giving up one more time came a click, as when the trap shuts you're in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once. This was the place. Those two hills crouched like two bulls while horn and fight, while to the left tall scalp mountain, Dunk's daughter to dozing at the very nunts after a lifetime of training for the sight. What in the midst lay but the tower itself, the round squat turret built to brown, blinding the fool's heart, built of brown stone without a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest mocking out points the ship, and thus the unseen shelf he strikes on only when timbers start. Not see, because of night perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset, kindled through a cleft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay, chin upon hand to see the game at bay, now stab and then the creature to the heft. Not here, when noise was everywhere, it told, increasing like a bell, names in my ears, of lost adventurers, my peers, how such was strong, and such was bold, and such was fortunate, yet each of old, lost one moment, now the woe of years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, view the last of me, a living frame, for one more picture in a sheet of flame. I saw them and knew them all, and yet, dauntless the slughorn to my lips I set and blew, child roll into a dark tower came. That was Child Roll Into a Dark Tower Came by Robert Brown. I'm making bagels. the oven's pretty new. This location we opened about a year ago, I guess. So the oven is almost brand new. It's been used every day for a year. More than a year. It's well broken in, I guess. Oh, excuse me. I'm making bagels. Bagels. Bagel. I'm making bagel. Bagel. Sort of. It started. The co-founders are Ken Sim and Paris Siegel, and Paris Siegel is the daughter of Joel Siegel, who started Siegel's Bagels in Vancouver about 20 years ago. But he retired. Joel Siegel retired, and Paris Siegel wanted to grow the company, and she found a partner in Ken Sim. And they decided to open Rosemary Rock Salt. And I became an employee for Rosemary Rock Salt in 2014. So I've been with them from almost the very start. I started with them when they had one store, and now they have 5. Yeah, 5 stores. Almost 6. Opening a 6th soon. Well, I think that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll probably be back tomorrow morning. I've worked at this business since 2014, but I've worked in the food industry since for probably about 15 years. Before this, I was working for a company called the Organic Box in Edmonton, and they did online grocery deliveries. And then before that, I was working when I was going to university. I worked at an organic bakery, and in Calgary called Prairie Mill Bread Company, and I worked there for almost 5 years, I guess. So we made bread there though. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Actually, I'll just take one more batch out here. There's our poppy seed. Well, that's all. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Have an excellent morning. And we'll talk soon. See you soon.